G'day guys and welcome here to the return of League Down Under, our first episode since the 2018 season. Excited to be back here and bring back to you guys, I want to say one of the best podcasts in all of League of Legends, but I mean, that's up for debate. We'll have to wait and see, because this time we're in association with the guys from Summoners Society, and we'll be with you every single week to cover everything League of Legends here in OCE. And of course, being the Summoner Society, got the Summoner Society's team with us here for our first episode and ongoing forward as well. But don't you worry, we'll have some of the older guys coming back in future as well. We're not going to completely remove all the essence out of League Down Under. But with me here today, got some of our big names here from Summoner Society. First up here, the team lead, one of the big recognizable faces of Summoner Society and high school esports in general as well. Of course, I'm talking about Euan at Midnight. Reid, Midnight, how you doing, man?
I'm going really well, and I'm really excited to be part of the revival almost of League Down Under, Baz, and very, very, very excited to see where it ends up going as well.
Of course, joined with them as well, of course, is Fetch here joining us as well on the cast here. Fetch, welcome to League Down Under. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. All the better for being able to be a part of League Down Under. I've been watching some of the old ones while everyone was doing all the technical work and stuff like that. Perfect sort of podcast. This is the sort of thing I'm really into. So very keen to see what we can make of it.
And of course, finally here as well, doing all the recording, all the behind-the-scenes stuff here, making sure everything runs properly as per usual. Is of course Teacko. How you doing, man? I know all the weight's on your shoulders, on your back right now.
I'm feeling real heavy right now. My legs, I'm getting a bit of a workout with my legs as well, but I'm great. This is probably one of my first podcasts / vodcasts I've been going through, so I'm really excited to get this one going and see what sort of information and banter we can get going.
It's going to be very cast heavy for a bit, but we are going to chill out once we get more into the podcast, once we get things going, because it's our first one that we're doing here for Summoner Society, and I think it's pretty exciting, guys. To finally have a podcast going. A little bit different to our usual. Here's this event, here's that event. You know what I mean? So I know all of us are kind of keen to get started, and I mean, you can see by our setups. I mean, look at Euan's setup, absolutely fantastic, right? We're not going to beat that.
Oh yeah, look at the green screen.
Yeah, look at that. MVP material idea. Let's go.
I'm waiting for the edits, by the way, editing team. So you've got a green screen there. Might be a bit scuffed, but I mean, you can do whatever you want with that. I can say with Teacko a little bit too at the corner there.
Yeah,
but...
it's in the corner here.
Oh no, you absolutely have all of Euan's dignity in your hands here.
Oh,
dangerous. What? Great. Also, I may or may not be suggesting that's exactly what you should be doing with it.
What dignity have I got left that you can take?
Absolutely nothing.
Hey, you'd be surprised. Yeah. There's quite a few topics here for our first episode, guys. So, of course, make sure you stay tuned. It's going to be an absolutely amazing first podcast going forward. Of course, bringing you the introduction, probably the biggest thing here we're going to talk about, of course, the introduction to the 2021 season start of the Summoners Invitational Circuit, of course, being split number 1. We're introducing you to the broadcast team and talent who will be involved in that as well. Of course, followed up by a special segment that, of course, your boys Teacko Midnight here have recorded for you guys. It's going to be a very exciting one. Very excited to see that recording, boys, to see how you guys did with that. Okay. And, of course, our coverage on the latest patch notes. We'll be wrapping things up, of course, with a very special segment that we'll leave to the end. Leave a bit of a surprise to the end. But, guys, I'm most excited, of course, to talk about the circuit start. But I want to see this pre-recorded skit segment you guys have been going on about. I mean... I think it's going to be 100% top production value. Can't be beat, right?
Patience is a virtue, Baz, and unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to ask you because I want to basically delay getting to that for as long as humanly possible because it's not. Let's just say there's a few humiliating things in there. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, you already went up in Fetch and I because you've done a pre-recorded thing, right? So you think you're fancy getting this pre-recorded stuff ahead of us. But, I'm sure Fetch and I will, we'll carry the live podcast part, right, Fetch? I mean,
easy.
I mean, you'll get to see the green screen being used behind Midnight, so that's going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
If it isn't already being used post-production to make me look like an idiot.
Oh my god, please tell me someone's just put his face on the
Yes, because what the world needs is more Midnight right now.
Oh, it's so true.
Face plastered everywhere around the green screen. Let's go. And then now that we're talking about that, now we need a screen cap image of we can just put on Twitter. I'm thinking anyone can mess with it. Anyone can edit it, see what we do. Maybe we can make this a segment for next week.
Boy.
Yeah.
That's right, top of my head.
Please.
We didn't even organize that. It's really top of my head because of what's happening here with this recording. But I like that idea. So Euan probably does it. Probably hates
I know, but we'll set up we'll make a screenshot of it properly at the end of the recording, put it up on Twitter or something like that, and see what responses we get. That's gonna
give
end
yourself
so badly.
do a couple poses for the cameras.
Oh,
then
no.
you can get it.
Yeah. Gotta crop that.
Let's run our first segment, I think. It's not a move on. Let's go. Split 1, 2021 Invitational Circuit start, guys. I mean, again, we were all here for last season. Absolutely insane. Probably our biggest season we've had so far. I mean, we had Ocal even before that as well. And I kind of want to feel like last season one up that. And we're doing that again here for 2021 here as well, guys. So, I mean, what are you guys feeling? Going 2021 season? Any initial thoughts, opinions before we go into teams or anything like that? Like going over last season, thoughts about this season?
I'm really excited for it, honestly, because in a way, it's not a new approach, but every team, every player has obviously had to relearn. Season 11 has punched a lot of people who maybe didn't learn the game properly because they're just follow recommended items, problem solve. Now you actually have to think about itemization. So I'm very interested to see the players in it and if they're capable of, using their brains.
They fetches Euan's for it right now.
Yep, I mean, like, I was ready to make some, like, really subtle shade there, but Midnight just took it and ran with it. I do agree, though. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a really good season. I'm so excited to see when people, like, settle into the items and Riot, like, fine-tunes a couple of the more overpowered ones. They kind of came out of left field. I think it's going to be really cool to see, like, the adaptations and things. It feels like the most balanced season at the moment. Once they've, like, with a couple of outliers, I feel like pretty consistently it's, like, you can play most things in most roles, and that feels very darn good. all right, fine. Mr. Negativity over here.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree to an extent with most things in most roles, but I have to point out multiple different champions that won't be able to fit in certain roles. Okay, let me bring out one. Ivern, he's stuck in the jungle. But that's because
he's been playing top lane.
Yeah, top lane.
He's been more playing top lane.
He is a top laner now, Teacko. The pros know what they're doing, Teacko. Trust them.
Do they, though?
They get paid enough that they should know what they're doing.
Well, actually, the coaches know what they're doing. The players just follow the coaches. Okay, Ivern can be playing the top lane. Fine. Whatever. That's not going to last too long. Watch. Just watch.
Screen cap that.
We believe you. That's fine.
There's, honestly, I think that Rel might show her face in some other lanes relatively shortly as well, though. So that's something that we do have to watch out for. We'll talk about it later in the patch notes. But there are just some champions who do not belong in other lanes. So Talia jungle, goodbye. There's just too many. There's too many other options, and I just can't think of any right now.
Oh. Brilliant, absolutely. This is an analyst, by the way. This is how far.
Okay, let me just go through a list of champions.
For those who know, y'all can't see it, but he's literally flicking through the league client. Wait. I think let me double check. Yeah, no, he's definitely flicking through the league client right now.
Oh my God, was that next gen? Did you just go
I can see the joy of me is I can actually teleport. I'm basically a summoner spell.
This is the problem. He's a top laner. Like, he's got the teleport.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Watch out for that Nasus bonk, Teacko. Watch out for that. I mean,
God.
I need a stick to throw at him.
All the sticks are on my side.
Damn it! I've been outplayed.
But we've got, our gang took out Split 1 last year, and we saw Kraken took out Split 2. Our gang in Split 1, I think a lot of people expected that, right? Everyone was like, yep, they got the players, that they were taking out every team left, right, and center with no issues really throughout all the Split 1. And then Kraken Black Cinderella story, I think. I think it was like one of the main highlights, I want to say, of the 2020 season. Like, Kraken obviously a big org, Kraken a cold one with the boys. We've known him for quite some time, especially in some of the society, but I don't think anyone's expecting the run they had in Split 2, right?
Excuse me. Someone expected exactly that. Thank you very much. I'm still riding that high.
You said that to the wrong person, Baz.
No, not talk about. No,
look, to be fair, okay, to give some context to it, for people who didn't follow the whole season, I think it was like 3. I followed their run through the playoffs, and it was like back to back to back. I was like, they can't win here, and they just stomped. I was like, they can't win here, come back. They can't win here, like jungle jungle support synergy, like weird stuff like that. And then suddenly it's like, I'm done doubting them. I've learned my lesson. I learned through pain.
Yeah.
All you nerds on the A broadcast at the time didn't get to experience that.
All right.
Damn,
you're right. You're right.
It's A stream for a reason, right?
Yeah, because it's full of A. No, I'm not gonna finish that sentence. B stream, best stream. Still believe it. Sorry. Continue.
There's times where we just want to forget about things, and Fetch's, being correct, is definitely one of those things we forgot. So that's fine. Because we only take W's here. The rest of us only take W's, and we can't accept an L. It's not good enough. All right. So
that's why you can't end the night on a loss. You got to keep playing, and then suddenly it's 5 a.m. in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's why you play that in ARAMs only, because the games are much, much shorter.
Also, because you realize, because you look at the clock and it says 6 a.m. You're like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. Also, it's the easiest way to get pentakills. Yeah. So there you go. Only take W's. Never play Summoner Shift. Only play ARAM. That's how you get good guys.
I mean, that's how I got my first penta. It was on Teemo. So.
Oh god.
I feel that. Mine's with Ash. So I feel that. So I feel you. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. But yeah, no. Like all jokes aside, the Kraken back story was insane to see, right? And it's really cool to see both these teams, kind of jumping a little bit, are going to be back this year. Going to be back to defend their titles from both splits. It's cool to see that one going forward. But we do have our format as well. 10 teams will be here for split number 1. Of course, usual best of 1, single elim, with the top 8 teams going to the quarterfinals, with our usual best of 3 semis, best of 5 grand finals. Split 2 last year, lads. Okay, I'll just say it. I'll be the one to say it, okay? Wasn't what a lot of people were expecting the format to be like. We kind of learned our lesson from that one, right? So we are going back to the usual format, or maybe an extension of our usual format, now having the 10 teams as well, but yeah. What do you guys think we're expecting to see? 5 games a night now, getting them all on stream as well. I think it's going to be very exciting to see coming to the 2021 season.
I think the biggest thing for me is that there is less room to hide things. In the previous format, I think we had 3 games a night for 2 weeks. You could hide a lot of things, and if you weren't communicating with your opponents, technically, you didn't know what another team had until you basically hit semis. So now strategies will be seen. Any secret picks that aren't easily, because they'll probably all see each other in solo queue. Any of those secret picks people are working on in solo queue will get found out early. And I'm personally a fan of that. It rewards you for actually paying attention and watching the other team's games, as opposed to being, all right, I'm there for my 45 minutes and then I'm taking a nap.
Yeah.
So what you're saying basically is you've leaked like our narrative meetings and stuff like that right here. And it's basically like the teams have to actually think now about their items, and they have to actually watch games. So like, yeah, okay. I see the narrative you're building here. It's a good one.
Yeah, you're making it a lot harder for every single team to just hide themselves. And I mean, as you mentioned, they couldn't do it before. Like their strategies could be hidden when they weren't playing on stream. And so now that every single game is going to be played on stream, one, you're going to be able to follow every team. So it's going to be a lot easier to follow each narrative for every team. But as well as we're going to be able to keep track of, score lines, going to be able to keep track of itemization preferences in champions. Is going to be so much easier for every single team to know what the other teams want to pick.
Yeah, so I mean, again, split 1. It's going to be. I still think this year it's going to be the best season for Summoner Society esports we've had so far. That's a bit of a bold statement. We've been here for quite some time now, well over half a decade doing this, right? But I'll be very excited to see how the season goes forward. We do have the teams locked in. We don't have the rosters yet, guys. So, that's a bit of a surprise we'll get in the next episode. But we do have our 10 teams locked in here. Some big names we're used to seeing. Some new faces that we haven't seen just yet. So we've, of course, got the Weekend Warriors, Weekday Warriors, Kraken, of course, returning to defend their title, MCOM, Dissonance, Stormwolves, Error, Wizard, the QUT Tigers Academy, and iGang. So, again, big notable orgs and team names there, some brand new ones here. Is there any here, guys, that stand out to you? Maybe some of the newer teams that we've been seeing a lot more recently in some other leagues, some other orgs and stuff, rocking up here first, getting that invite finally to the circuit, the prestigious amateur tournament we have here in OCE.
The one that catches my eye is Wizard. Now, that's the team that nobody's going to... what the hell is this, guys? Yep. This is effectively the old Sin Gaming roster with a few modifications. So if you guys, I think, look back like 1 or 2 years, you'll see Sin Gaming... their roster was actually pretty damn decent from what I remember. And now they're coming back in as a bit of a modified unit, but they're now getting to go against teams that, again, we look at likes of Weekend Warriors and Weekday Warriors. We know that organization pushes their teams damn hard. I'm pretty sure they still do 3 scrims a week. How is those organizations going to go against newcomers? Because they're probably not going to know what Wizard has in their back pocket. And I think for the first 2 or 3 weeks, that is going to be essential when we get to watch that team play.
Definitely. I mean, Well, the manager from Wizard, what's his name? Tommy something. He messaged me first. He's like, "We heard Summoner Society is doing an invitational circuit. Can we join?" I'm like, talk to Midnight. Look,
someone else's problem.
I'm pretty sure. I told him, I'm pretty sure that we filled up all our slots, but if you're good enough and if you catch the eye of the admins, you're going to be able to join for the next circuit. And then I sent him over to Midnight, and Midnight's like, "Oh, no, we actually have a space." And that just made me look a little bit stupid. But,
oopsies.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you never...
your own format.
Sorry. To be fair, you never know, like... you never know. You, like, it's really valuable still to, like, hype up the league, right?
Yeah.
Just be like, it's like, if you're good enough, like, if you can prove yourself. It's like, it doesn't matter, even if we throw them a bone later, it's like, it makes it sound good.
Yeah. And I suppose the other big teams to keep track of, at least in my eyes, will obviously be iGang. They're returning. They're hungry after their split one. They won split one, couldn't make it in split two. They're going to be hungry for that one, definitely. And of course, the other, I guess it's kind of obvious, Kraken, returning champions. We had, I remember split two, we had the narrative of iGang, they were going to do super well, and then it just never really came to fruition. Now, Fetch, question. How is Kraken going to do? You have about 4 months till we have the answer, but how are they doing? Will they win the grand final? Yes or no?
No, they're gonna get knocked down in semis.
Ooh.
It's unfortunate.
Clip
But like, they'll come back into split. Hopefully, they'll. I expect them to come back in split two. God, I should have kept with the confidence. They're gonna come back into split two. They're gonna nail it again. They're gonna be that big come from behind threat. Don't be baited out by their poor performance early on in the season. There we are. Hardest prediction I think you can make.
Because we didn't even know the roster.
Going to be quoted on Twitter if I mess this up.
oh my god.
Because we don't know the roster yet. It's alright. Knocked out in semis.
Yeah,
We're locking that in.
That's the best part. We don't know the roster. So at the moment, we can say whatever we want and look like idiots later. And
Let's go.
The roster. What are we still about it?
I didn't know any better back then.
It's great because we all have excuses except for Teacko. Because it's like, hey, I'm the silly play-by-play caster. All I know is that chat go fast.
Oh no!
As you're a desk host as well, you get to do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I am a play-by-play caster.
True.
Saying,
Sorry.
It's fine.
So you're saying I'm the smartest person here right now?
No, you're the person with the least number of excuses when you get things wrong, is what we're saying.
We're allowed to say things wrong. It's in our contracts. We're allowed to say that. So all we have to do is be exciting, speak loud about maybe 5 minutes total in game time, and make a bad joke. And that's it. We're done.
I mean,
we're done. So.
I mean, if Teacko, if Midnight didn't get things wrong, how would you be able to correct him and then transition that flawlessly into your brilliant analysis? Really, you should be thanking him.
Yes.
You should be thanking me for my stupidity. No one else does.
we do regularly. So,
Bruh. All right. I think I'm enough of that game. We're in session soon. I'll get to that afterwards. But I think overall as well, most excited to see some of the teams that we haven't had here in the circuit before, of course. Again, don't know the rosters just yet, but MCOM, Dissonance, Era. Dissonance was, it's MCOM, Era, as well. Keen to see these guys. Stormals, as well, we did see a little bit of last year, but keen to see how they'll be back this year here too. And of course, the QT Tigers Academy. The QT Tigers, big name team in all of Oceania here as well, especially in the esports field in general. So cool to see these guys here with us. But, I've seen a lot of MCOM outside of Summoner Society, big name in some of the other big tournaments we've seen, amateur tournaments in OC so far, but cool to have those guys here now with us for the invitationals. But yeah, I mean, something, we can say all we want about not knowing rosters. We just can really at the moment go off the org history. And when we're seeing a lot of the classic orgs coming back, ready to go, we've seen they time and time again, they normally are on top. It could be a bit of a mountain to climb, I want to say, maybe for some of these other teams. Or we could be surprised, the Kraken story last year is all very surprised with that. So maybe not Fetch because apparently, she guessed it right or something. I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. So, but any closing thoughts, guys, about some of these teams we've seen here? Because I mean, again, weekend warriors, weekday warriors. We haven't really talked about them, and I mean, they've been with us for, I want to say, forever. I can't remember a time without them. To be honest.
It's been four years. I remember seeing them come up.
Yeah.
So you have faith in them. I've always been a huge Weekend Warrior fanboy. I don't think I've been very good at keeping that hidden. So as long as one of them makes grand finals, I can be vindicated with victory. So, that's all I'm waiting for is one of the teams can. Do not let me down, please. I don't want to look like a fool again. I do it too often.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of their Twitter account.
Yeah, true.
Who is it, to be honest? Number one Twitter game, I think, in all of those, the amateur teams by far.
I mean, that's it. That's all I'm a fan of Weekend Warriors.
Twitter.
I mean, not the comments. That's it. Just Twitter.
Not their team. Just their Twitter. mean, they've got a great Twitter game going through, but yeah. MCOM's not bad.
Next weekend Warriors tournament that's on. There you go. Midnight Ticker free for, all right?
Let's go.
There you go.
Hit me up.
We're going to move on now to, of course, our introduction to the broadcast team for our Split 1 2021 season. And, some familiar faces you guys have seen for a bit. Maybe some you've seen a bit too much over the years. And we've got a couple new faces joining us here on the Summit Society team here as well. So we're going to start from the top. Midnight. Get on Midnight. How you doing, man?
I'm going.
How you like sitting in that open space, that green screen behind you?
There's so much room. Look at all the room.
Yeah, you're gonna be crowded by your own face.
Oh god, yeah. I don't want to know what's just there because it's obviously green for me. I don't know what you guys are seeing. It's gonna be nightmare fuel. I'm really excited for Split 1. Honestly, again, we've got a revamp to the format. We've got some old returning teams. We've got some new teams. And it hopefully will be almost like a testing ground for players, because of course we all know the big things that are happening down in OCE. Spoiler alert in case you haven't been paying attention. So I hope these players can see this as this is a place to get themselves known. So I'm really, really excited to be able to see that.
Now that you've told us the cast of talk that nobody cares about, how about you introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, that
people
part.
That don't know. Yeah.
Hey Teacko, how do I introduce myself?
For the people that don't know you.
For the people that don't know me, I'm a ginger. In case you haven't noticed that. I mean,
he already failed when he started life, guys.
Anyway. So I'm.
Here's a ranger.
Also just to note, of course, I'm Midnight. I've been casting for about 6 years now. Christ, it's long. And I'm your yelly, shouty idiot for most of the casts. And I like to yell. I don't think that's a unique thing, honestly. I'm not that interesting. I like anime. I suppose that counts as something. Teacko, take it over quickly. Teacko, save me.
It's your intro time. All right, I heard anime and I'm done.
Good. Same here, honestly. Well, okay, if that's what we're going off in terms of personality traits, I don't like anime. There's a good start. That's going to piss off all sorts of people. I've made myself the absolute heel of this broadcast already. But hey, look, I have been casting a few different games, been playing League since about end of Season 3, casting it. I actually think my first cast was with Midnight yonks ago, 2015, 2016, something like that. So it's weird to be back after, I think I spoke to him I met him once in Solo Queue a couple of years ago, and then just back here, and it's like, oh, you're here. You, yeah. So I'm sorry that he has to deal with my presence anymore. But yeah, I do a lot of play-by-play kind of stuff. I try and do as much informative play-by-play and things like that as I can, trying to help people with those sort of things, and am largely just here to have a good time and enjoy the wonderful rest of the broadcast, rest of the broadcast team, who have been absolutely fantastic. And as much as I do like ragging on everybody, they are a wonderful group of friends.
That's surprisingly wholesome.
Oh, wow.
You bloody right, anyway, moving on to Teacko. Now that we've got that out of the way, Teacko, introduce yourself, man.
Okay, so I'm a very, very busy boy.
Yep.
And so that means I don't have enough time for anime. But I don't like anime anyway, so whatever.
I've seen your Netflix account. I know that's a lie.
Yeah, all right.
I don't watch anime.
How many seasons of Friends are you into now?
I'm on the 10th season.
Thank you.
Wait, hang on. This man doesn't like anime, but he's out here watching Friends reruns.
Yeah.
20 years later.
Well, what's your point?
Finish the intro, hurry up.
Okay. I do cheerleading. I do musical theater. D&D, because, you have to have some form of nerdiness if you're an esports commentator. What else do I do?
I think that's about it.
Yeah. And I work. I sell sunglasses. Hit me up if you need something. From Sunglass Hut, that's it.
the most egregious product placement for something we're not even sponsored by.
Sorry, I work for a luxury brand sunglass.
You realize what you've just done, right? You've told the internet where you work.
That's fine. There are so many stores in the entirety of Australia. You're gonna have a hard time.
All right, guys, you know how it works.
You know how it works. Get him, boys. Get him.
Anyway.
He'll hit you up with some free sunglasses.
No.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
No. Keep dreaming.
So there's introduction to the team here, of course. No one cares. People just want to see the game. So, okay, we're moving on. We're going to introduce the people as well who aren't here. And this is the fun part now.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
now we
great.
get to just rag on them, and they can't defend themselves.
It's like NA at Worlds.
That's right. It's get that plane ticket speed run going, boys. Set that timer because it's go time.
Yeah.
First off, Black Neko. He's going to be one of our streamers coming into us as well. Coming to Summoner Society very, very recently. There's done a lot of action doing working with other orgs, especially working with the Queensland University of Technology side of things as well. Any thoughts about the name Black Neko? I know Midnight. How about you say his name for us?
I hate you, Black Nico.
No,
I
no.
hate you. If he...
Go try. Hold on, wait. Say it again.
I hate you so much. Black Nico.
No. Try once more. You can get it. It's not very hard.
Okay.
You can get it.
Black...
Yep. Neko.
Neko.
Ne?
Yes!
Black Neko!
Okay, brilliant. We did
Nailed
it,
it.
boys. We'll get it fixed soon.
Has
Neko
any-
doesn't really care for context, but it does my head in every single time I hear that. Space the King of Truth. How can you be cast if you can't say words properly? I don't get it.
I'm dyslexic. I can't help it.
But yeah, could have him on. He's been. We've heard obviously he's been really amazing running a lot of other events, so we kind of push him for Summoner Society because we do. Get all the best talent here. Could have him on board. I think honestly, I don't really think there's much else we can say about him. He's except for Euan saying his name wrong.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a lad, and looking forward to work with him.
Especially, there's definitely not much more Midnight can say about him. Already struggling with further parts. But yeah, I know that, like, the one thing I will say I do know is that, like, I imagine Teacko having, like, a little, like, heart emoji on the notes there because of how much work Teacko had to do beforehand. So,
That's true.
yeah, bringing more broadcasts in, we adore our broadcasters, and, it's really good to be able to work
That's
with.
a lie, by the way.
Black
We
Nico.
treat them very poorly. We don't.
It's a bad kind of love, but
Yeah.
It's technically
It's
love.
some form of abuse that really should be dealt with, but we'll get around to it later. Cooper Trooper's up next, lads. He called him on board, had casting recently. Apparently, he's so funny that he was a team lead in some soccer region league, left, then decided to cast and come back. Now, say about that what you will, but Cooper Trooper, any thoughts? I don't have any, except for the Pepe
He's
the
tall.
Frog.
He is tall.
Pepe? I don't know how it's called. The frog memes everywhere. I see it everywhere.
Oh,
man.
Pepe,
It's just,
yeah.
We're in
Yeah.
2021, man. Come on, keep up with the memes. Sorry, get the meme police up.
He's very tall. What is he?
6'2", something like that?
6'3"?
Yeah.
He's a tall man. Like, if you watch him on his streams, he's sitting down all the time. So you think, he's average size. No, he's huge.
And it gets up and he's like this.
Yeah, no, literally, he's
He's like a head taller than Teacko.
and
Easily
like
head
two
taller.
heads taller than you, Midnight.
Oh! You're not wrong, and that kind of pisses me off a little bit. I'm going to be back on Cuba. How did I get pulled into firing line out of this one?
He's Mini Mario.
It's just.
Alright, can we move on to someone else before I get... I feel like I'm going to get insulted to every single person in
Yeah.
broadcasting. We're just going to find a way
Oh
to
yeah,
rag on
it's
me.
gonna come back to you. It's just gonna happen.
God damn it.
It's if you can't make fun of the team lead boss, then what's the point?
God damn it.
Come on. All right, moving on. It's everybody's favorite formal casting.
Yep.
Insert marble
Up
marble
next,
rips, yeah.
is, up next, Flying Finn. It's been around for. Yeah. Okay. Do we need to talk about? Okay. Do we have to talk about formal? Do we have to talk
I
about
mean,
Sonya,
again, can't we
honestly?
just play like a
That's not
clip
already
of his
been said.
wrestling? Like can we just like put a clip of one of his wrestling videos in front of us right now?
Yeah.
Or behind
Yeah.
Or,
Midnight.
yeah, behind me.
Yeah.
And you can just see, like, and all you have to do is ask yourself one question: what kind of mind comes up with this idea and creates like
Yeah.
bunny mascots? Like, let's go.
Yeah, apparently the fans like him too. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what you've seen him, to be honest.
No.
But I mean, okay, if we all have to be deadpan face guys, don't sleep for like 2 months to get all the rings and like kind of look in the camera but not really, and then we get popular, I think. Boy's already trying it. There you go. So
oh, see, I edit the lines out, and I've got like the slight glare to try and hide them. Is that what I'm doing wrong?
Yeah.
you got no glasses for a start.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People just had a
Makes
nightmare
sense.
me taking my glasses off. You never see that. Just deadpan, cross-eyed in the camera, and there you go. You're all good. I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
Or he might be charismatic and just be a really good caster. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I don't think it is.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think
he
that's
might
it.
he might just be a complete genius of like broadcast.
Tell you what it
like,
is.
we already don't. Like we can't figure that out, right?
No, I don't think so. No, that can't be true. I don't think so. What do you guys think at home? Leave us a comment about how much you love formal. Please do.
Or don't like him.
Yeah.
Maybe we can rag him about it, and then he laughs it off, but I don't think he likes it very much. So, or maybe he does. He might be an egomaniac. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, Flying Fit. One of our veteran guys. He's been around, quite honestly, probably the longest out of any of us in Summoning Society so far as a caster. Problem with that, we call him a caster, but he casted twice last year.
Yeah.
Is he still a caster? I don't know if that counts.
He's a caster in the same way that... I'm not going to say that's going to be really offensive.
So let's just say...
Redact that real quick.
Let's just say he's the epitome of lurk.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
one. That's a far better one.
We drag him out of the retirement home every 6 months and then chuck him back in.
Yeah.
I think that's another good explanation for it. He's going to hate that.
He's the casting equivalent of NA.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, true. Remember that speedrun we're talking about?
Yeah,
That's Flying Fit, yeah.
I spent my whole time insulting NA in this
maybe you
podcast at this
shouldn't.
point. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do about it?
Hire
Lose
you
worlds
at some
faster?
point? Oh, okay. Wow.
To be fair, Finn is doing a lot of admin work recently, doing a lot more behind the scenes stuff recently. But yeah, apparently he's still a caster, so there you go. We're still going to put up with him all these years later. It's almost as bad as me, but we'll get to that later. Moving on, Mendrix. He's a man. He was on OCS at one point.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
What, 4
I
years
mean,
ago?
Mendrix was probably the it was the first person that got me into casting because I think he was doing learn how to commentate on his stream 3-4 years ago, and that's how I first started to learn how to cast. So this guy, he knows his stuff, and he's known it for quite a long time, and he's continuously learning and is so involved in the community. I just love the man. He's great.
Never meet your heroes, Teacko. Rule 1.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I've never met him. I've only talked to him.
By what definition is that not having met someone?
I need to meet him in person.
We spend half our lives online.
Yeah, fair.
It's not an excuse at this point.
No, yeah, that's true.
Having just a life discussion right now on how we all live in the current year, apparently, because that's...
Oh boy.
No, but,
As smart as some of our analysts and color casters might be, that's a bit beyond them, I think. But back on topic, Mendrix, that's what we're up to, yeah? One of the few casts I've had the pleasure of working. Of course, I'm the rookie still. Realistically, I've only been here for 6 months, 7 months, something like that. But yeah, no, you can. Doesn't matter how much you think you know. There's always stuff you can learn, which is great. That's a great thing to. That's a great thing to have. It's so.
All jokes aside,
underrated.
I think Mendrix is definitely one of the guys I think most of us looked up to when he was doing OCS, when he was with Throwdown and doing stuff with him and Hysterics and the guys as well when they were doing OCS for a while and whatnot. And I mean, my thoughts on him basically the same as Teacko. He didn't get me into casting, but he definitely watching his cast quite frequently with Hysterics and that. I learn a lot from the style of their cast and how they would tackle it and whatnot. And now that we get to work with him as well, absolutely insane. I think Mendrix is the only person here that I don't think we're allowed to rag on because I think we wouldn't be casting without him, right? Well, we can,
What would you say to rag on Mendrix? It's
That's true.
there are other people who are just as talented as you.
Yeah.
You're not special.
I was on. You want OCS like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Haha, OCS, not OPL. Oh. What do you say?
The only person out of
Mendrix just went offline. Just as you said that, Mendrix
No.
went offline on Discord. Well, he's not happy. He can't hear us. It's okay. This is a joke.
How do we know he can't hear us?
Maybe he can.
Oh.
He can smell us.
No.
Moving on. To our next person now. Mr. James Quirky. He hates that, by the way. Fellow StarCraft 2 caster, dead game. But now go to League. Better decision, a live game. What do you think of the man? We've had Quirky with us pretty much since day dot as well. Obviously, an awesome man to work with. Not always in the. How do I say this the right way?
Man's got some quirks.
That works.
God damn it. I hate you.
Definitely rocks up to cast sometimes, not realizing it's a cast. Take that for what you will, but
Part
of his charm.
Turns on the webcam and is wearing a full chef outfit. All right, let's get the pasta in. What the hell is this?
Not a cooking show.
Okay, you gotta admit, all right. Sometimes we're talking about something, and we're like, here's point about really cool champion, really cool team fight, yada yada, and he'll be like, And it goes to Quirky, and it's, yeah, I'm going to repeat everything that was just said. I wasn't listening because I was messaging my girlfriend or something.
I was too busy playing auto chess on my phone.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm actually in a StarCraft game right now. Sorry, my bad.
Might be.
Trying to be that one extra person so Blizzard don't turn the servers off, whatever. It's fine. But any thoughts about the man himself, Quirky? I mean,
he scares me. He's got like chaotic energy that scares me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I feel like if you spend too much time in close proximity to him, the void will just like rip open and consume you.
Haha, I get it, StarCraft joke.
Thank you.
Oh. I was thinking like Cho'Gath sort of stuff. Like...
No, I was actively trying to make a StarCraft joke.
Okay, yeah, I don't.
Honestly, didn't even realize he was doing that. I just assumed I heard void. I'm like, that sounds like space. Yeah, that'll do. Go with that. Dead game. Any other thoughts about the man himself? No, we covered it all. That's how exciting he is. Moving on. See, hey, they did it, not me. I'm just saying, I'm just going off what they reacted to. That's it. Shadow's Night joining us now. He's been with us for a little bit. Going to be another broadcasting with us as well. Of course, as we said before, what can't we say about this man that we said about Black Neko? Okay, we love our broadcasters.
As long as they do their job.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, his name sounds like it's from a 2008 Naruto AMV with Linkin Park in the background.
100%.
You know, yeah, you do you, man. Current year, you know, you can do what you want. You know, I'm not your mum or your dad. You know, so it's fine. But yeah, broadcasters. Any thoughts? This sounds kind of bad now.
Oh, okay. See, this is my area of expertise.
Oh yeah, the man himself.
Yes.
Okay.
So Shadow's Night, I haven't worked with. No.
all that build up is like.
Okay, granted. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Has anybody been with us for a little while?
Yeah.
Doing work. As far as I'm aware, hasn't done work with anyone else. So this is his time to shine. Yeah. Because there's new guys coming on. He's one of our new guys. Take that for what you will. Also, he's Shadow's Night. He's from 2008. Best way to describe him, I think, at this point.
Jumped forward in time to bring all of the classic retro casting you love to see from the era.
Yeah. He's and like on the other side of the room yelling into like a blue Yeti. You know what I mean?
That really is classic. Damn. I will say that like some of the people, like any of the people who sort of jumped on, at least since I've been casting, have been really great. I've been really impressed. I've been like, I'm always a bit worried when you jump in. You're like, yeah, I've got all this time to like get used to it. And all these talent keep coming up, and you're just like, wow, this person's really smart. They just get the game. They just have insights. They're talking with the players. They just know stuff. And I'm like, this is really cool, but intimidating. So yeah, I've been really impressed with a lot of the newer casters. They've been looking really great. And Shadow Knight's kind of amongst that, right?
Exactly right. And we're gonna move on to the last person, your boy Weapon, XVX. We've had him for a very long time. One of the big brains, I want to say, of our casting team that we've always had. But I like to quote from his Twitter bio himself.
Oh, this is going to be good.
In quotes, the vegan straight edge. Now, last time I checked, CM Punk hasn't been in WWE since 2013. Straight edge isn't cool anymore. All right? What are you doing, man? Please, CM Punk isn't going to wrestle anymore. He's not doing it. Please change it. We're all sad that he's not wrestling sometimes. Okay? We've got to move on. We all got to move on. We're going to take this stuff. None of you, Fetch watches wrestling.
Yes, I do. I was like,
talking about.
I absolutely was. I was just like, don't talk ill of the straight edge savior. Some of us still believe. You know, it's the Punk is not dead, but like, you know, the really sad like Punk is not dead messages on like which is like half ripped down. It's that, but it's the the crossed arm symbol. Yeah, that's it. You're right.
Poor Weapon.
It's hard for us.
I mean,
Teacko and Midnight have no idea what we're talking about.
It's going to take like a huge
man likes character from show that hasn't been around for almost 10 years and won't be coming back, and it's very sad.
Cool.
I mean, to be fair, we're talking about yeah, thanks. But to be fair, WWE is redneck anime, right? That's just so like.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I'll give you. But
so there's our like through line there.
How don't we talk about the man Weapon himself? The bald, beautiful bald man.
Well, I mean, we can't really tell if he's bald or not. Well, not many people can because he's always wearing what do you call those hats?
Berets?
No, they're not. That's not a beret.
It's not a beret.
It's no
helmet. A whale, a seal.
Hat?
No, it was in the caster video I put together. What was
flat cap, right?
This is not the name
No?
of it.
I'm like,
I saw that
Anyway,
once.
it's hard to tell whether he's
I'm not
bald or not because he's always wearing that. So, I mean,
flat.
He's gonna see this video
I
and then
need
just
to-
like
I
send
need
you a
to-
message and say, "Stop calling me
Yeah,
bald."
No, it's a flat cap. It's a flat cap.
Hat.
It's a flat cap.
Name.
That was right.
Name.
All right, that was right. Fetch was right.
It's called a flat cap for
It's not called a
context.
flat cap.
It's literally called a flat cap.
Sometimes called a scally cap as well. There you go.
Dun dun dun. Fun fact
Yeah.
of the day.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Whose
basically
name
all
is
we're saying
Weapon anyway?
Basically, all we're saying is the only man in the cast that we're legally allowed to walk up to and slap him in the head. That's fun. Because
Yeah, and say it's
that's
for
how
luck.
it works. That's how, if you're bald, you're a drum. That's how it works, okay? I don't decide society's rules. That's just how things work, okay? Moving on. Fetch is like, oh.
We need to
There's a
apologize
lot of
to
talk
every-
about hair here. There's a lot of it's very inflammatory. I don't know how I feel about this.
I feel like every bald
Hey.
person who watches this is just gonna get an irrational
Hey,
hatred for all of
Weapon's
us.
bald. Euan was born with the unfortunate hair color. Okay, people in the lab thought my hair color would be funny to put on a human being. Okay, it's fine. Everyone, it's all a joke. Everyone's fine. Teacko is a basic human being. Okay, everyone's fine. Okay, we're all good.
What? No,
I
you're
believe-
basic.
I believe that's everyone on the board.
No, that is not. That is
That's
not.
fine, we're
Baz.
keeping that.
That's just a
Baz.
That's everyone.
That is not
broadcast.
everyone.
So
we're gonna move on
So
to
what
our
can we
pre-
should talk about Baz here?
Well, the fact that he just punched his own microphone
Yeah,
is also
fair.
a pretty good place to
No,
start.
that's fair. What else do we have?
I only have one bit of material on Baz, and it's technically a shots fired at myself as well, because I know he's pretty sure he's also a weeb like I am. So it's
Yeah,
like,
he is.
the one shot I have is shot at me.
I can't be touched. Haha.
He's our resident weeb. I mean,
Pretty sure, isn't that in the video?
Yeah, it is.
We have a clip of him saying, "I am the resident weeb,"
no,
so we can just have
on-
that as
on
forever.
on the
No,
description.
I
of
wear,
resident
I
weeb.
wear things with Japanese text on them. Don't
Yeah,
worry about
I think
that
that's right.
part. Okay, that's actually another brand I probably shouldn't have. But you know, I don't like the text. Okay, I don't know what that says, but it looks cool, so I'll wear it. There you go.
I will say that was the ultimate cover. Like I was watching this, and I think I said it for a few mates 'cause it was a really good video. And they were all just like, "Oh, wow, he likes Japanese things, but isn't a weeb." And it was like, "Oh, he's too clever. He's done it. He's like
he's
managed to
outplayed
find that little niche." And I appreciate it.
I pranked them. I'm not a
Yeah.
weeb. Haha. What's a VTuber? Haha. Anyway, we're gonna move on to our next pre-recorded segment now. Okay, big serious. Yes, I'm Baz. I've been here second longest. I'm the host. My voice gets used for like a majority of the video packages. I'm a weeb. Haha, real funny. I have funny colored hair. Haha, I'm very loud. Haha. I don't think anything has been said before that would change that. So, I mean, you can try it. Go for it. Open fire right now. Whatever you want to say, go for it.
Crap, I'm on the spot.
Wait, hold on.
See?
Let me
See?
get a
They
good
can't
look at him
talk.
for a second.
I'm so lovely they can't.
Also,
Okay,
because you
I'm
run the
fine.
desk. If I
Oh.
insult you on the, I feel like if we insult Baz, he's gonna turn the desk against us.
Can I?
Uh,
Yeah, no, take it. Go.
The man is so very opinionated in the things that he says that he
Yeah.
got voted the
Here it
what
is.
was the
The most passionate member
Yeah,
of Samsung
what they
2020.
Yeah, I was the only caster that got an award for League of Legends
I mean,
last year.
we only gave you name.
Yeah, but technically, still the only person that got one.
Fair.
Did you get an award last year?
I
Didn't think so. No, didn't think so. No.
I've made myself an award for trying my best.
and that's all that matters.
I made myself
Yeah.
just a patient award. Go me.
What are you doing? My best. And that's
That's all that
people
matters.
that come second place and don't get actual rewards. Moving on to
Yeah.
our pre-recorded
You
segment.
get it? I'm
Midnight
silver because I'm second place all the time.
Okay, the first step is acceptance. Moving on to our pre-recorded segment now between Midnight and Teacko, lads. Okay, I want to look at you guys' introduce it. Your segment, you thought, man, you know what'd be funny? A pre-recorded skit segment about an item that may or may not be out of date for the joke, but that's fine because it's the intention that matters.
Yeah. I don't really want to spoil it. I just said let's
No,
just dive.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's
all right.
just go.
Let's just go right into
Let's dive
it.
into
Right into it.
Okay.
Um,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boris Talk Shop with Midnight and Teacko. Enjoy.
Welcome everyone to Boris Talk Shop. How are we doing today, Midnight?
Good. How are you going today, Teacko?
Not too bad. So now this is a segment that we call Boris Talks
shop where we talk about different items and we talk about how they work and how well they don't work.
Yeah, and then we get to make fun of you for building these items. But unfortunately today, we're going to be less bully and more educational, sadly, because the item that we have decided to look at is, of course, one of the new Season 11 items. It's actually the support item, the Imperial Mandate, which on the surface is pretty simple, but then when you get into the niches of it, you want to bang your head into a damn wall.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you can build this on, carry champions. You can build this on Teemo, as you will see later on this magnificent screen that we have for you today. So basically, for those who don't know, Imperial Mandate allows you to, when you damage a champion with any form of CC, whether it be a slow or hard crowd control, it marks the champion, and then one of your allies can attack that same champion and deal some extra bonus damage and grants you and your ally a bonus 20% movement speed.
So all in all, the idea of the item is rather basic. CC an enemy, your ally gets to hit them a little bit harder, and then they die a lot quicker. So it's a good idea for an item to help the support, typically a support, to have that extra oomph of damage to kill them. And we've seen them in supports like Maokai and, disgustingly, Ashe. Yes, I know what you've done. Stop playing support Ashe. You disgust me. But it does do its job quite nicely, although its job is a little bit harder to perform with certain items.
Definitely so. So the first thing that a lot of us our brains go to is Rylai's Crystal Scepter, because that applies CC soft crowd control.
Yeah.
So does Sorelda's Grudge. I don't know how to pronounce Sorelda.
I just call it Grudge because that's the only important word of it.
Yep, and other slowing abilities, items as well. But Rylai's and Grudge are the main two that we want to focus on. And yeah, you're pretty much right. It does proc them.
Yeah. And it's kind of the expected ones. When you think about, well, what do I want? If I want to slow the enemies, if I want to actually proc it, what do I grab? If it's not in your kit to begin with, well, Rylai's and Grudge are brilliant. There are also quite a lot of champions that it works annoyingly well with, again, as the aforementioned Maokai and the disgusting Ashe players. But there are a few ways that you can proc it without it being part of your champion. And this is where the nichety of Imperial Mandate comes in, because as annoying as it is, the items interactions, can't tell the difference, with the other champions and the items that you can build with it don't make sense, yet do make sense. It is disgusting, and you'll get to see why your Imperial Mandate, when you're playing Ezreal, doesn't work.
It sort of does work.
Does it though?
Not really, no. So Glacial Augment is another thing that we can talk about. It does slow, and it does proc sometimes.
It procs sometimes, and that is the fun part of this bloody stupid item, is it will proc, but it's got a very specific set of conditions to proc on certain things.
Yeah.
So, some more niche items that have slows attached to them, so of course we've covered the obvious of Rylai's and the Grudge. The other items that apply obvious slows, such as your Randuin's Omen, work fine, no issues. But then we get to look at something like, for example, Blade of the Ruined King.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah, I'm going there. Now, the new Blade of the Ruined King, long story short, on the third auto attack, it does its old unique passive, its active, and it slows the enemy by 25% of their movement speed. Except it will not proc Mandate, this is the best part, unless the third auto attack is an ability, such as an Ezreal Q or a Nasus Q.
Yeah.
I do not, for the life of me, I still can't work out why the hell it's designed that way. But on the bright side, if you buy it, you're a fool.
Yeah.
Because if you're buying Ezreal with a Mandate, there is a certain section for you, and it's not on Summoner's Rift.
I mean, you can go support Ezreal. I mean, that works too. But usually, yeah, you want to build Imperial Mandate on a support, so Teemo support is now viable.
Yeah, and the worst part of it is, and this is this took about half an hour to figure out, Teemo's E is an ability. Even though it's a passive ability, it counts as a stupid ability. Therefore, Therefore, it applies to a champion. Therefore, Glacial Augment will activate, assuming you have Augment on Teemo support because you're a filthy heathen. It will then slow the enemy champion, which since you have now crowd controlled an enemy champion, you can activate Mandate on them.
Glacial Augment Teemo has permanent mandate up. So here is your top tip of the day from Boris Talk Shop. If you're playing support Teemo because you hate yourself, go Glacial Augment, Imperial Mandate, and the enemy team will hate you just as much as you hate yourself at that point.
Definitely so. And the same thing applies for Dead Man's Plate as well.
Yes.
So it only applies on melee champions, the slow, if you do stack it up, but you can only, same as the Blue Blade of the Road King, you can only proc it if you use an on-hit ability.
Such as a Nasus Q or an Ezreal Q.
Yeah.
It is the most... I don't know why...
Not an Ezreal Q, he's
oh yeah, no,
he's
Nasus
ranged,
Q.
yeah.
But like, I don't know why they designed him mandate like this, but it's got the weirdest interactions I've seen in an item in Season 11.
Yeah.
But again, there are plenty of options for it, so hit it up on Summoner's Rift. Become the disgusting Ashe or Teemo support player you knew you were born to be when you decided to download League of Legends because you hate yourself to begin with. Thanks for coming to Boris Talk Short, guys, and we will catch you later.
And welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. Now back to the live or semi-live pre-record. Do we call this live? I don't know if this is live or not. It's live.
Don't
Podcast for League Down Under. Right?
Live now.
Don't spoil anything. Part of League Down Under, of course, in association with Summoner Society. That was Boris Talk Shop. And I think you guys have a couple thoughts about that after we've seen it so far.
So that recording was done in 11 point... Was it 11.1 or 11.2, Teacko? Do you remember?
1.
It was 11.1. So that was when Mandate pretty much lasted forever. You could proc it whenever you damn well felt. It did get a little bit of a change. And the TLDR of the change is Ashe doesn't work, but Shaco does. So stop playing Ashe, play Shaco support. You know you love yourself. Do it. Yeah, that's pretty much that's the change. That's it.
Just to stand out after.
I don't know what you mean, man. Playing AP Imperial Mandate Shaco support is the most BM thing you could possibly do in the game. Your W, your E, and your ult all proc it very nicely, and then of course you just get to do the fake Shaco dancing with the clone. They all in the clone, they die, and then you just get to pop up behind them like hello, and then stab them very hard in the back.
Is that why Shaco mains dance all the time?
Yes.
I genuinely
They want.
confused.
Yeah,
I was
that's
just like, why is he doing the worm? What is he hiding? There's a gank here somewhere. What's going on?
Yeah, he's very much saying, all in me. Do it, I dare you.
I see.
The problem with all that, though, with the Shaco is I think most of us here actually want the W in our games. You know, we want that win. So is the Shaco AP support really a good idea?
Okay, it may not give you the W, but I can promise you this. Whoever's playing AP Shaco support is having the time of their life.
The 80 carry, however, not so much.
No. Okay, if I can add a little bit of nuance here. I found the best way to win solo queue games over my last few matches is, in fact, using all chat. People don't realize this, but just being like really polite when you outplay someone by being like, that was close, really tilts them. Like, you get the toxic people and the other team. Like, it's great as well because it seeds out the really wholesome people. Because the really wholesome people are like, oh, thanks, buddy. You're playing great. And the toxic people are like, I will fight you. And they keep all in you, and you keep outplaying them. And then Till Meter rises, and you win the game. I figured it out. That's the strat. What better champion to do it on than AP Shaco?
Yeah, kill him with kindness.
Put it out there.
Kill them.
That's the all ages, all chat response of the player, by the way. I will fight you. Yeah, there's like a couple, maybe a lot of swear words, maybe some
a few words added in. Yeah.
I literally had to pivot. I'm not. I had to pivot what I was going to say just to keep it.
Can't say that on stream.
Oh damn! But there we go. That was Boris Talk Shop. So boys, looking forward to more endeavors with Boris and his shop that he talks in. Maybe more in I guess in time in future. I guess maybe not something we could have really controlled at that point, but maybe next week we can talk about how great. I've put myself on the spot here. How a champion. What's a really bad champion at the moment? Just name one.
Rel. No.
Wait, no, Rel.
He's got a buff.
Rel. Literally, like, one of the top points of conversation is Rel.
Yeah.
You're looking at the Rel nerf. Like,
Talia.
Yeah, true. Talia's now garbage jungler.
How Talia jungle is still good in this patch or something like that. I don't know. There we go. You guys will figure it out. We'll get around to it. So. But let's move on now, guys, to patch notes time now. Patch notes 11.3 just dropped as of recording yesterday for us, Wednesday, the 3rd of February, I believe. So, lads, we've got ourselves quite a few things here to cover. Been quite a number of changes throughout this patch. Let's start from the top. Speaking of Rel. Why are we talking about Rel for? Why?
Well, she's got a buff, and it's weird, and I think we might need to add context for this one, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of everyone looked, even Midnight was like AP buffs. But here's the thing. At the moment, when you pick up a support item, for those of you who haven't played much support or just haven't kind of looked over the itemization as closely, the support items, there are 2 tank items. One gives you attack damage, one gives you ability power. They're pretty much the same thing, but that is the fundamental nuance to it. What this is sort of encouraging is allowing you to go for the ability power, have that option on Rel, because even though it's not fully indexing into ability power, it's like more of a tank rune. You do get a little bit of boost in ability power. In an all-in early in the game, you can actually take about 7% extra of the AD carry's health if you do take an all-in using these new buffs. They're small, they are AP ratios. Don't play AP Rel. That said, that's what I'm theory crafting tonight. But it is, it's a small chunk of damage, which if you hit like level 3 before your opponent, can really kind of make a difference. I don't know. I haven't done the stats as to whether AD versus AP Rel, what's better. But at the moment, it's not looking too bad.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, the entire purpose, because you can see a lot of the Asian countries, they're playing Rel a very different style to what we see in the European and the Western style League of Legends games. Rel is played as sort of like a counter-engage, counter-gank style support. So you're not gonna see a lot of Rels in other regions engage with their W. They're going to be using their W to counter gank. And so with this, it adds a little bit more extra damage, and it means that they can not only escape from the counter gank and escape from the turret dive, but they can come out with a kill out of the back of that.
But the timing of the buff, especially for these kind of players, is really nice. I mean, right now, the meta is these engaged heavy supports. Alistair has just started to come back in, and immediately the likes of Rel and I think Galio have both been appearing in the bottom lane. So these buffs,
recently,
even if, as Fetch said, it's not gonna you're not gonna suddenly see AP Rel popping up everywhere, but that extra oomph of damage, because I think the ulti went from 70% to 110% AP scaling. Like
it's a fairly big number, right? It's a big jump.
Because you build like 30 AP on Rel, don't you, Fetch?
Yeah, that's about it, right? Like you get sort of about 48, I think, and that across the full combo, because you get like it's a 70% AP boost for the combo, and so if you get like if you're like 48 AP, that jumps out to about 34 extra damage. Sorry, just quick maths. Early game, that is.
Yeah, I'm hearing the rapper in my head as well. Thanks, Teacko. I just think it's like, yeah. So the extra little oomph is just always going to be welcome, especially because tank supports, they want to finally do something. They want to do damage. They want to kill people. So the Rel buffs are very, very welcomed to those players.
I'm kind of interested in playing Rel now because I haven't really had it. I mean, I play a lot of support in my solo queue stuff, but like honestly, really, all I've been playing recently is caster supports. Maybe like 1 or 2 tank supports recently because like I never like you feel like especially with Alistair, you go in and then what? Like you drop your combo and then you just run around in circles for a little bit. Yeah,
just hit the cowbell mid-fight.
Right? Back the cowbell, right? But it's cool to see that. I guess maybe obviously Rel now. Maybe they might look towards buffing or updating some of them more of the tank supports later on. So, we were still seeing Galio a fair bit, but it feels like kind of a bit of a cop-out when a player's like, you're on Galio duty. It's kind of like if you get Ornn, you're on Ornn duty. It's very similar. So I want to see like how Rel will do now with these changes. I think that we might see her start popping up a little bit more now because of that.
I mean, I think that like the big thing, right? The big thing, which people have kind of been talking about everywhere, so maybe it's not worth going over, but I think it's really important. It's the matchup. It's not like you don't just pick Rel with any AD carry. You pick Rel with champions like Kai'Sa, who are able just to like. I don't know how much our audience do know this, but the idea is that Kai'Sa can ult behind people, and Rel gets the immediate snap into the rest of her combo. So she uses the stun on her. I forget whether it's E or a W. But she gets the stun from that, like the snapping the little like connection she has with her ally, and that's an immediate stun on like the entire team. It's a really great team fighting tool, and that makes Rel gives Rel an entire full lockdown combo, like the equivalent of something like an Orianna ult set up by the AD carry diving in. She's in the perfect position, especially with like a bit of lethality, which we're seeing at the moment. That is such a devastating combo, and it's just straight up won games in a lot of major regions.
I mean, if you guys got to see in NA, I believe there was a Rel Misfortune combo which just wiped 3 people off the face of Summoner's Rift. I cannot remember for the life of me which game it was, but it was a brutal combo. And again, all based around the setup that Rel is, you engage on us, well, I engage on you, lock 3 of you in place, and then a Misfortune bullet time is not exactly hard to miss when they're not moving.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the extra mobility of a champion like Kai'Sa to set up the stun so that she can then hit the combo after that, like is incredible, and that's so good. And then like seeing that with champions like Olaf as well. There's so many different ways you can set it up.
I was moving on now throughout the pack, because again, there's been so many big changes that happened in patch 7.13. Looking at the 80 carries now, and kind of shifting towards some of the new item changes coming through as well. I know Fetch, Teacko, the 80 carry guys here so far. Ezreal, Jinx, what's happening here?
Well, I mean, okay, so I have to say, first of all, I've spent weeks and weeks theory crafting Ezreal, couldn't quite get him right, did a bunch of changes, and then I checked Teacko's solo queue record, and went like, what, 25-1 or something on Ezreal? I copied his build. Turns out it was just me being an idiot. But there is the change people are talking about, if you'd like to know, is the fact that Ezreal's Q now has an 8% stronger bonus AD scaling.
Yeah.
That's total AD scaling, and that's not tiny, but I mean, Ezreal isn't exactly meta at the moment. I'd like to actually pass it to you, Teacko, to see what you think about that. That's like the stats. It kind of gives about 3 to 6% extra damage. How do you feel about the state of Ezreal? Because I'd actually like to hear this in general.
Well, honestly, towards the mid-late game, I don't think it's going to be too much of... It's not going to be too impactful, because by the time you get to three items and beyond, you're already chunking with your Qs. Depending on if you're going to go with Divine Sunder or any other build, you're still going to be chunking a decent amount into tanks. And so a 10% increase in AD boost, mid to late game, isn't going to be doing too much in terms of being able to chunk, being able to deal some damage. However, this really does well early game, because this increases 10% AD. 10% of Ezreal's bonus entire AD, and it's going to make him so much stronger in the early game. It's going to allow him to somewhat come back into the meta so that he can get his farm back up. He can make sure that he stays in time in terms of CS with enemy AD champions like the Jhin. Or Kai'Sa, yeah.
It's Philios, all that stuff.
Yeah, all the AD carries, okay, they're all there, I know. All the meta ones, because we sort of forgotten about some of them. Lucian's moved to the mid lane, we don't even count him as an AD carry anymore. But yeah, no, basically what I'm saying is Ezreal, this is just going to give him a little bit more of a boost in the early game and help him in skirmishes and fights.
I would like to say, though, it is only 8% increase on his total AD. It is like a 10, like the increase is like 10 percentage points. Like it's like an increase of 10% of like his AD, but it actually only increases like the actual increase is only 8% damage once you calculate the fact that it was 110 to 120. It's weird maths, but that actually kind of brings me onto what I want to say about Jinx, which is the fact that it looks like she got a 15% damage boost because of the way her Q is calculated. But in fact, going from 75% of her total of her bonus AD to I think it's 90? Yeah, it's 90 because it's 15% point increase. That's actually 20% extra damage. That is like 1/5 extra damage on her auto attacks, especially coming into late game. And admittedly, it's kind of the opposite of the Ezreal changes, where you don't get as much of that early game benefit. But come late game into team fights, even like once you start picking up a couple of items, she is going to hit like that late game carry you want her to be, and it gives her a bit more leeway in the early game. So people kind of looking at that and being like, 15%'s not much, extra 5% range. Like, what does that mean? But realistically, like, in the positioning in the team fights, it's so important. 20% extra damage on her Q, and what's more important than that is that you get to proc things like on-hit effects if you're going something like Kraken Slayer, which you can kind of do a bit more now, given the range and her safety. You can get Kraken Slayer off a lot more, and it actually spikes her DPS way more than people think, because this is a, it's not a bonus AD buff, it's an attack speed buff. Still, like, focusing the Ezreal one. So that attack speed enhances other effects. It makes, including the range of rocket form, it makes her a disgusting team fight threat. We've all like, I'm sure a lot of us have seen like season 4, season 5 Jinx, where she gets to 3 items and you just go check Twitter because like you're gonna be dead most of the time anyway, right?
I may have been that disgusting Jinx player.
Yeah, you Jinx main.
I was Jinxing for like 2 years. It was a good time. I was gonna say the big thing for me is actually not even the touch of the Q, but the change to the E, which I think again. It's such a small change, but now basically when you cast E, it doesn't make you run into the middle of the team fight because you accidentally clicked, a moment too far and suddenly the Renekton and the Zed are both on top of you and what the hell. It's now, it pretty much just throws it from where you are as far as possible in the direction you've clicked. Which for someone like Jinx, who has no innate mobility, the only protection that she has is the flaming chompers themselves. You need that ability to basically, a little bit of forgiveness in case you do that misclick. So Unless you're running Gale Force, and then you can just run the hell away from the problem when it dives on top of you.
It's a safety net.
That sounds great.
It's a safety net, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really nice safety net, and I want her to come back in the meta. I've always loved watching Jinx play because it's the team fight of when does that first kill go over, and then when does Jinx pull out the rocket launcher and just start gunning everybody down. They are fantastic. She's a fantastic front-to-back team fight, which goes similar along the lines of an Aphelios, who still loves his front-to-back. The reason why you pick Aphelios over Jinx is because Aphelios can look after himself better. Hopefully this buff to Jinx lets her rise up the ranks a little bit.
And that's the point I wanted to bring up as well. Like, not even just last year, but over the number of years of Circuit, Jinx is definitely not a pick we see at all in any of our circuit, whether it be the Oceanic Circuit, the Invitational Circuit we have now, even during OCal, right? We never really see Jinx even hovered or thought about really at all, because obviously we had Aphelios come through, but then you've got your better, you obviously got your Kaisers, your Caitlins, right? You got Misfortune currently at the moment as well. We've seen her even a fair bit throughout circuits too. Like all these types of picks. Lucian when he was an 80 carry, right? We didn't have him back in the month, right? But yeah, you don't really see Jinx, and our Ezreal was a big fan favorite as well in the circuit too. So maybe having that slight damage buff, maybe teams don't want to look towards using him now. And do you think maybe these Jinx changes might make some players look towards Jinx, or do you think maybe it's not enough yet when we have some of these other top champs like Kaiser just ruining the Rift right now all throughout solo queue?
Something I actually do think, I think will kind of be the defining factor is her Flame Trumper. Slightly comes up slightly faster as well. That's the other thing. Remember that if you drop Flame Trumpers as someone's dashing to you, it eats the dash. It blocks them in unless they're unstoppable. And so getting a faster arm time on that, there were so many small quality of life things, maybe like a little bit more of a push, one person like just figuring her out. I reckon we're going to see her.
And then when there's a lot of high mobility champs with dashes at the moment, right? Like it's going to be a factor, so we'll have to wait and see. But that kind of ties us into now the mythic items that we're going to have a look at here. Again, a range of changes really across a lot of items in general here that have come through in 11.13's patch. But what are some of the key ones here that we wanted to talk about?
Mythics.
Mythics in general.
It's not particularly a change that's come through, but more just the mythic in general that I think, and I made fun of it when it first came out, is Strider Breaker. Now, I won't go along for it, but effectively, when it first came out, I looked at the item and I started just laughing my ass off, because I thought to myself, in what world is this a useful item? Because all it is basically, it assists with chase down. And typically, so many champions, especially nowadays, already have the ability to chase someone down. You don't need it, I didn't think. I think you just get something like a Gore Drinker, which, especially right now, is ridiculously strong. But it does have its nuances. We're seeing a lot of it, and it works really well on that champion. And the other one, and it's disgusting to witness, is if anyone has seen Stride Break Darius, running is never enough. Oh. It is... Teacko, you know that first time we played a solo queue game, Teacko couldn't run away from him fast enough.
They take Ghost and then they decide, you know what, I'm not fast enough.
There's not enough mobility in the world to keep an Ezreal safe from a Darius who really wants him with a Stride Breaker. So
Trinity Force, Ghost, and Strider Breaker.
But it's an item that I really like finally being utilized again. We're seeing it with Gnar, we're seeing it with lane bullies like the Darius. I want to see more champions take it, but there are just, again, there are better options than a Strider Breaker, especially if you're looking for like a duelist, because again, you've got Divine Sunderer and you've got Gore Drinker.
Yeah. That's the big one. I'm really sad we didn't get to do our recorded segment because we're both a bit busy. But a lot of that, actually the running theme of that, the running joke we made, was the fact that mobility is king in League of Legends. That was the one item which I think we'd like designed to talk about not being as well utilized. And then it's the Garens, Dariuses, it's the sets being picking it up. It's the, like you said, the Gnars doing some really tricky stuff with it. It like... You underestimate it until it just hits you in a solo queue game, and you think you're going to outplay that Darius somehow. You've got your tricks, you've got your 80 carry tools, and then you're locked down for like a, 50% slow, and you're like, oh no, this item's busted. And I think that people are starting to realize Divine Sunderer, maybe not all it's cracked up to be. I think there are other options. It's fine, but it's kind of a weird niche. Like, it's it's kind of just a Sheen with not a lot of other effects. You get some Magic Pen and Armor Pen, but I think people are starting to see that like the attack speed on other items and things like that on Camille, like Gore Drinker is just, you can buy them. Everyone, like assassins are building.
Shaco's building it.
Gore Drinker. Shaco's building Gore Drinker. What is going on?
It's disgusting. I can see Teacko just like being not approving of the gore drinker conversation.
Yeah, well, I mean, as an AD carry main, and I think I speak for the entire community. Can we like not make top lane a thing?
I'm sorry, what?
Can we get rid of top lane?
I mean, as a top laner, we're basically on an island as it is. Do you want to physically separate the rift? Like, effectively form a Brexit of what happened to the European Union, just like chunk off the top lane and make it become Britain?
Yep.
I'm okay with this, actually.
Yeah.
It means the jungler doesn't come up and gank my lane five times in 5 minutes.
Then the meta will just become, okay, who can split push the hardest?
I'm absolutely okay with that. I'm a split push. I'm an Nasus player. I'm all for being left the hell alone.
Yeah.
I always love the arguments between top laners and bot laners. They never end. The ongoing arguments, and of course, who deserves the jungler more every game? It's always an ongoing fight. Excuses going left, right, and center. Always nice to see. Was there anything else, guys, from 11-13 that you think was worth bringing up?
Yeah, Riftmaker changes. So they actually sort of nerf buffed it. It's hard to explain. Yeah, they nerf buffed it. So they increase the amount of HP that you get from it. But they entirely changed the premise of it in terms of not like it's base passive. Because you still get true damage after 10, 12 attacks? I don't remember. But you have a lower percentage amount of Omnivamp. And the Mythic passive has changed entirely. So instead of giving a bonus 5% Magic Pen for every for the Mythic passive, you now get AP, 8 AP, and 12% Omnivamp. So it's going to do a lot for those AP champions that want to deal bonus true damage, as well as stay alive a bit more with their Omnivamp.
So like the likes of like an Akali, for example, would be even better now.
Or who doesn't need it, by the way.
Yeah, doesn't need it, but
doesn't.
She's having to take it anyway, right?
It's rough. I mean, the Akali. Remember when Akali first? I mean, Riftmaker first came out. All these mythics. Akali used to build Conqueror, Riftmaker.
I still think you can get away with that, honestly.
And you will be able to with these changes.
I think what's weird is the fact they nerfed the Omnivamp so hard. They took so much Omnivamp off it. That's what surprised me. I was like, if they're gonna take it, like make it less of a tank killing item, which I think was such a cool idea, and I think the problem was that it was a good item. People weren't playing. Because it was the ultimate tank busting item. Gave you the sustain, keep fighting them, and they're playing Magic Pen. Now the fact that it only gives you like 2% Omnivamp for each other item you buy, capping out at 8 once you've got 4 legendary items, assuming you're building boots as well. That means that like at full build, you only just make up for the Omnivamp you had before, which is like much less. You don't get the Magic Pen. It does feel like such a weird nerf to the item. All you get in compensation is 150 health. Like, who is this item targeted at now? Who is buying this? You know,
honestly,
you get a bit extra AP. Sorry,
I think still
it just doesn't seem like anyone's. But like she's got Proto Belt. Rocket Belt is so good on Akali because you get flat Magic Pan, which lets her assassinate squishies as opposed to tanks, as well as that extra burst of mobility to make her less of just a huge mech check in the kind of the mid to late game.
Well, it could end up being a sort of shift of an item where, because before with Akali it was buy Riftmaker, buy the rest of the stuff. Now I kind of like it as a, do they have a tank? If so, look, if they have like 2 or 3 tanks, buy a Riftmaker. If they don't, you can shift to the Rocket Belt. So I kind of like the change. Because, again, I've stressed it before, it's making players think about their itemization, which is a criticism I would have gone on for 10 years about the old items. So finally players
like how
have
we
to use the brain.
Like, the 80 carry items that was similar, right? Before these item changes came in, like you had, of course, back in the day it was just Last Whisper and that was it, right? And we've gone from that Lord Dominance Regards, et cetera, right? It kind of fits that model for AP, right? Which we never really had. Maybe Grievous Wound type, like the Morello, stuff like that, but nothing like this. And the way I'm looking at it now, it could even, to me, could seem to be like maybe it's good for AP champs, maybe not burst AP champs, but ones that maybe want to sustain, maybe keep the fight going a little bit longer, where they'll come online like that. That's the way. Like, I don't know why, but Carthus just came to mind. It's a really weird champion to think of, but I don't know. Maybe ones like that, I guess, where they want to keep the fight going as long as possible and kind of, I guess, just what's the word, like outlast the enemy team. I think is the way to put it.
So like, and Noriana
with less Omnivamp now, it doesn't give you as much of an ability to do that, and it doesn't kill tanks anymore. It's just not a tank killing item, right? They took the tank killing part out. They took the sustain part out. What are you left with? I don't understand what the idea behind the changes were. I'm sure it's a smart change. I feel like it's almost like it's trying to be built on like AP bruisers because they've been in a rough spot because they don't really have as much in the rest items. But it being a viable alternative to the other things, because you had like the Rocket Belt the sort of like the items that you could buy, which were like solid, were Rocket Belt, and then the 2 regular AP items, which build out a Lost Chapter, like your you know the ones, Luden's Pulse and Leandri's. Those like those and Riftmaker were really viable. Riftmaker if you want to kill tanks, Rocket Belt if you want to kill squishies. You will get to the other ones, I'm sure. But now Riftmaker doesn't kill tanks anymore, and it doesn't let you sustain. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where I'd pick it up anymore. I personally wouldn't buy it on a Kali.
Maybe we might have to wait and see how it goes, right? Because obviously, like we said, the change is there for a reason. It's not like I said, it's not exactly a straight up nerf. Like get the extra 150 HP, right? There's that AP in the passive now as well. Maybe it'll depend on the particular item build you need to build around it, the champions you got on, the matchups. It's like there's so many different dynamic factors, right? That's just League of Legends, obviously, right? But maybe we might see it like a couple weeks from time from now. Maybe it might be one of these top items, still just in a different way. Like maybe that might be the tank killer item. Maybe it could just be a different item altogether. We'll have to wait and see. But well, I guess that kind of wraps up then. Our 11-13 patch notes, guys, they're coming forward. So of course, tons and tons of notes. There's a bunch of other changes that came through as well. Just make sure you check that out over, of course, on the League of Legends website or through the client as well. I'm going to move on now, guys, to our final segment here, our surprise segment that we teased at the beginning of League Down Under here so far. But we're calling Reddit Analysts, which with a name like that, you already know it's going to be a shit show. I think that's the easiest way to put that. And we're going to have to wait and see how this one will turn out. It's our first time going for it, but I think we're going to have a laugh. It's going to be a good way to end up the League Down Under episode 1 show here. So Fetch now will roll some champion numbers for us here, some RNG numbers. And of course, each member here will have to hype up the champion they get. Each desk member will get a chance to. And they'll get 1 minute to defend their random choice. So I hope you guys, are ready and prepared to defend the champion like it's your newborn child, because that's what's going to be happening.
If I get anything other than Nasus, I'm just going to be tilted.
Okay.
So,
the chances of that are low, right?
The chances are 1 in, 156? Is it Fetch on the number of dice we have?
154.
154. So I've got more of a chance to get it than I do flying through an asteroid field in Star Wars, though. So I've got that going for me.
Okay, that's true. We'll give you that. Don't know what the nerd reference is, but that's fine.
All right, so who's going first of all? Because Baz, you're out. Wonderful.
Yeah, okay. We'll go our usual order we're going so far through the show so far. So Midnight, you're up first to see if you get that Nasus, or if you just give up. Just straight away.
Ready to spin the wheel, Midnight?
All right, let's do it. Let's see what what I have to hype up. Oh,
Insert the circus music, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, here it is. So number 52. Now I'm gonna have to just bear with me while I make sure I check which character that's.
Okay, who do you think it is? Number 52.
I don't think that's not early enough for Nasus. That's probably gonna be. I want to say Renekton or Lee Sin is my best guesses.
You got a bit of an easy one on this one. It's gonna be Jhin.
Wait. Okay, that's not actually. Oh god. All right, sweet. So let's.
You got yourself 1 minute to try and defend why Jhin is the greatest champion in League of Legends. Go.
Okay, whoever here has been watching Sesame Street, of course, we love the count. We love to count our numbers, so count with me. But no, like every carry, they have so many guns and bullets. Jinx is a girl who just has like a couple belts and a minigun. Where the hell did she get her ammo for? It's not worthwhile. Jhin is about cost efficiency. You get 4 shots, you make them count, and they hit damn hard. So that is obviously why he's the best champion. It's efficiency, and efficiency. For those who've worked on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you'll get that. So that is the essence of his build. He's simple to play. It teaches you how to right-click, and obviously 4.
I
don't think that was a minute. Whoever the timer is on the screen, I botched that. But
we'll give you that. We'll give you that.
I mean, I can just I can keep saying the number 4 until the end of the time if you prefer. So
I think it's safe to say that that's not really a good convincing argument, unless you're a diehard fan of Sesame Street or Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Or both.
Exactly. I have catered to my audience.
That's fair.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope there's
I don't know what audience that is.
Degenerates like me.
Baz, is the audience here?
Oh, okay. Well, if I'm the audience
tailored
here,
it right then.
I'm not. Okay, if I'm the audience here, I'm not 3, and I don't watch American sitcoms. So unfortunately,
damn it.
That's that. So there you go.
So I've gotten 4 out of 18 those basically. Is what I'm hearing.
Okay, it's fair. You tried your best, right? That's what matters. Right? You tried your best. Right? Count to 4. You're good with numbers. Right? You can count to 4. Good job, Euan. All right.
Yes.
Better than I thought you could do. But I mean, you still got 2 others you got to compete with here. You might not have the worst one yet.
Ooh. Oh no.
Fetch, even though you're the roller, you're up next.
Yep.
So-
If everyone, I mean, you guys can adjudicate the roll, have a look at it, make sure I'm doing it all fairly.
Yeah.
I'll spin the
I'm
wheel
watching it right now.
and do it. Yeah.
Number 19.
19. Okay,
Number
this is pretty
19.
early. It's pretty early. I'm gonna say it's like
Okay.
Camille. I'm gonna say
Camille.
this one's
That would
like
be really
Camille.
easy.
God, she's so
I reckon Jin's easy. So there you go.
Oh, well, there you go.
All right.
And drum roll, we have.
It is gonna be Cho'Gath.
Ooh, okay.
So,
I got this.
Okay.
All right. Let me know when my time's ready.
Yeah. I'm going to the second. So start. Hang on. Now. 1 minute.
All right, a big boy from the void, the large man, the gentleman himself is just taking over the Rift right now. He's unkillable, unstoppable so much that they had to nerf his spikes in the last patch. He was just destroying anyone who stepped in his way. You want to talk about Gore Drinker? You want to talk about Stride Breaker? He just runs up with a fist made of ice and punches you square in the face, and that's the team fight. That's the ball game. He's won the Rift. Immediately popping up less than a week ago in like the popular eye, and he's already hitting the ban board. Interesting way to put it, but he is just single-handedly, if I'm not mistaken, he single-handedly got a couple of the tank items nerfed just from how big and buff this Void man is. And I mean, realistically, if you're not convinced by that, by whatever means, you clearly haven't been in a team fight where he's just walked up to the AD carry, looked them square in the eye, and just eaten them. One shot, that's it, down the hatch, you're done.
Done.
Is
That's
bad.
it. 1 minute. We're good. We're done. There you go. That's it.
I feel like I've met my match.
Grossly misjudged how much effort you're meant to put into this.
Yeah, I've definitely miscalculated this challenge. I'm gonna take the L now just to save my pride.
I mean, I don't know. You've still Teacko, you don't know, but Teacko might tank it.
Oh,
you
true.
don't know.
I can throw Teacko off his game as well.
No,
That's
you
right,
can't.
you
This
could.
is not it. This is against the rules.
I don't remember that being a rule. Fetch, you remember that being
Yeah,
a rule?
I don't remember that being a rule,
I
that
don't
Teacko.
remember anything about
Yeah,
that.
no, I
Okay.
don't remember that.
I'm
That's
scared.
interesting. But honestly, a little bit scared of the dedication there, Fetch. Not gonna lie, a little bit scared, but very proud of the hype. I'm not gonna lie, very proud of the hype. Right.
I love my little void creatures. It was an easy one for me.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Except he's not. He's a big buff, like 10-foot bloke who
He
just
starts
wants to
small,
destroy
he starts
everything.
small.
He
So-
does start small.
He's small at heart. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he does just eat people raw, so you
He's
can't have
small.
exactly a big heart if you do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right.
Now,
You ready?
Teacko, you're the final member here for the role.
Please not be
Trying to
Rek'Sai. Please not
defend.
be Rek'Sai. Please not be Rek'Sai.
Really, I want you to get Rengar. Honestly, I want you to get an
149.
assassin.
149.
I'm going to count from the bottom for this one. That's going to be so much easier.
Yeah,
We've already- we've already,
149 at Teacko. Are you going to defend
That would be like.
champion?
No, it's not. Zaya?
If you get in that ballpark, yeah.
Close. You got a tank as well. Why are we getting the tank, but he's getting the AD carry? One here. If I can count correctly, which I can, more than 4 especially,
Yeah.
it's Zach.
Oh, okay.
no!
This is not okay. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, so, okay, so Teacko's getting ready, but I'm waiting to get to a better timer to start at. So you're going to wait 15 seconds. So we've had...
Just a little bit of
Jin.
trivia before we get into this. Actually, you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm going to put that into my speech.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no.
right. So we've had Jin, we've had Cho'Gath, now going to have Zach. Teacko is the last person going to defend. Best champion, is it Zach? Go.
Okay, so the best champion is the champion that makes the best sounds, right? So you know that blobby, squishy Zach noise that he makes? Yeah, that's made with dog food put inside a condom whacked against a wall. If that isn't the best League of Legends champion, then how about this? He can elastic slingshot his way all the way over to your AD carry and basically make sure that they get CC trained 4 days and not have the rest of their life for them on the Summoner's Rift, bar the countdown timer until they become alive again. Zach also makes himself large and small. Take that as you will. His passive allows him to not only have a guardian angel of his own, it's sort of better than Anivia, because instead of having one little blob that you have to attack, there is 4. And you know what else? What 4 is better
Jin!
than on Jin? It's on Zach. There you go. Have fun.
God, that's it.
I saw that coming a mile away.
There
I'm like,
you
I
go.
know exactly the combination to make.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. First things first. Euan, big F, bro.
Yeah,
That's like
the pressure got to me. Pressure got to me.
Okay. Okay. So we don't have a rating on this podcast, right? We don't have like it's PG or G or MA or whatever, right? Teacko, you're pushing it, bro. You're definitely pushing it to what we can have.
I said
And
take
you know
it
what?
as you will.
Yeah, you know what? That's credit where credit's due. You know what? You're willing to push the boundaries. I
Yeah.
can accept that. I
didn't push any boundaries.
I can accept that. I can accept that. Unlike your buddy next to you, who thinks that number 4 is all that matters. I mean,
Yes.
it'll be fine. But yeah, there you go. So there was the defense. If it was a live show, I'm pretty sure we would get fans' reaction to see who won that.
Yeah.
But we don't have that. And I think I'm going to add a little spin to this. That whoever lost, maybe needs to take a punishment game. I'm thinking.
Oh,
God.
God.
So I'm going to let you decide. Right? Who do you think won that? Who do you think lost that? Because it might seem obvious, but it might not. You never know.
Well,
I could have to fight.
I think Midnight
Well, if
lost
Midnight-
it.
Can
Yeah,
I
if
can I
Midnight-
ask for an audience opinion?
Yeah, well, there's 3 of us. We're an audience.
Yeah.
Now,
That's right.
Like we agree that Midnight took the L.
Yeah.
But what I think that means that we can take Midnight's insight as 2-1 though. I'd be alright with that. If you are Teacko, if you're willing to get his thoughts, see who he thinks
No, that's fair.
best
So,
him and by how much.
yeah, no, that's
Okay.
fair. Yeah.
So I'm going to gauge the victor by appearance. Baz, you win. Look at the beard! Look at the beard on that man!
Obvious choice. I know, as always, like I said before, I only take W's. So thank you very much there, Euan. Of course, there's no other correct opinion there. So thank you very much. And as the person who won, I have to choose the person who lost, and that's you.
Damn it!
So
I thought that would save me.
And that means he came in 4th place.
Hey! The gig is complete!
So the number's good, but unfortunately it's punishment game time. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll have to work that out later. Maybe
We'll
next
figure that out, yeah.
But honestly, good effort. Sucks for Euan because he had to start. It was the first time, and I don't think he realized.
I panicked.
how
I panicked so
prepared
quickly.
these two were, I guess.
So who is the winner?
I think there are no winners in this show. There's
No,
only
there is
losers.
always a winner.
No, there's just the Baz. We
I
had
won.
that.
We said this. I won.
Well, who is better between Fetch and I then?
That's for you guys to decide.
Well, that's for
Okay.
you guys to decide.
No. It doesn't matter. You didn't win, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Ian, there's first, and then there's 4th, and then there's the
That's
middle
right.
ground.
And this is the middle ground, right?
You know what,
We've got
you know what,
winners,
Teacko, I
loser,
think
and
the
everyone else.
handle's right. We can take a handshake on this, right?
Yeah.
Other way to go.
Yeah, well done. Use it on the cameras.
Top-notch
No,
production.
being serious, I don't know.
Let's go.
Because Fetch had the passion and the hype, right? She's very, she's very full on about this champion. Really loves Choga. But Teacko pushed the line. He pushed the boundaries. He was willing to go where no one else was willing to go. I mean, dog food and condom smashed it on a wall.
Oh,
I
come
don't know,
on.
man.
How is that pushing the
that's pretty cool.
boundaries?
It's pushing the boundaries. I'll say it's pushing the boundaries a bit.
Baz is the host. He gets to choose the rules.
That's right, okay? I have to deal with a G-rated show here, okay? We can't even talk about rockets without having a double take, all right? We have to be careful. So, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. The passion, though, from both, a little bit scary. Not gonna lie, a little bit scary. Compared to Euan, a little bit scary. I don't like that preparation. A little bit weird. It's a podcast. I don't really get that. But I guess, when you have an actual analyst, and a play-by-play who's also actually an analyst, but we just don't talk about that, and then we've got Euan. I mean, I don't know. It's not really fair in the first place, is it?
Much like Fallout, it was rigged from the start.
So, you know what? I think it's time that let's take a punishment game. Teacko, I think I might leave it up to you, seeing as you deal with him the closest.
Okay.
Make sure. I have no idea what we're gonna do. We'll have to figure something out.
Probably something like next week we'll
Next
have
episode.
it up.
And I think we might make that an ongoing thing. I think
Yeah.
with these.
I'm for that.
Next
what?
week we've got another cool idea, a bit of a debate we're gonna have happening. So it's a bit of a teaser. I'm very excited to see that one. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the first return episode of League Down Under in association with Summoner Society. So you guys have fun. I think it was a great way to kick off the 2021 season.
Definitely.
And of course, this isn't going to be a one-off. Keep your eyes on Mondays because that is where we will be going live.
Which
After
would
this
be
upload, obviously.
yeah, which would be today for
Don't ruin the
viewers.
illusion, Benji.
Sorry,
Don't
sorry,
ruin the illusion. They can't know we're recording ahead of time.
Well, except when
I
they
mean-
see the upload, I guess. I don't know. We were live on a separate service that you couldn't see, but we were live, guys. Trust us. This was live. This is a live podcast.
Yeah.
Everything's live.
100%.
Okay. Remember to follow Summoner Society on all of our social medias. Of course, our Facebook, our Twitter @SumSockOCE. Of course, joining the amazing community Discord server as well. Of course, follow us on Instagram and subscribe to us on YouTube because that's where the podcast is going. Yeah, that's where we're going to put up all our current VOD stuff, not just the podcast, of course, the VODs for all of our future weeks for the Circus of Split 1 and Split 2 happening this year. And any other cool videos or content or surprise events we might be doing later in the year that, can't talk about now for two reasons. One, because we're not allowed to, and two, we don't really know what we're doing. We'll get to that. We'll sort that out when we get to it. And of course, the start of the Circuit Split 1 will be the 22nd of February, which is a Monday, which, if I believe correctly, lads, is 5:30 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. 6:30.
So the games will be beginning at about a bit after 6 o'clock, but we will be having our standard analyst desk and, of course, League Down Under occurring beforehand. So I'd say keep your availabilities from 5:30 AEDT onwards. We'll be there to keep your eyes out.
Yeah, there you go. So, of course, we're ready to get underway, kick off all the action for Split 1 of the season. Of course, continue this weekly podcast show. We had a lot of fun, obviously, put this one together. We're going to try and stick to that weekly schedule. Of course, you know how it's not just Summon Society, but all, I guess, amateur esports things go. We say weekly. We'll try and get it weekly, of course. There might be that there. We'll have to wait and see. But the commitment will be there. Thanks to you guys. You want to say any final comments before we wrap up here? Any last comments? You want to go? You want to Teacko? You want to start fighting in front of the green screen so we can have a cool edit?
Hold on. No, we gotta post like UFC fighters.
You gotta get the post guy.
and then we have to be like this close.
Anything fetchy you want to say while these idiots are
I don't think you can see because of the camera.
Oh wait, hold on. We're gonna go.
Flubber, but,
Top-notch production.
Guys, we'll see you next week for the second episode of League Down Under. Until then, guys.